And people say, oh, I prefer natural medicine. It's obvious why people think that the modern medical system in particular is not natural. It's outside of nature, or it is unnatural, or it is less natural. The complaint that it's not natural and that pharmaceuticals, come with a certain set of problems, it's important to know what those problems are. The advantage that you get studying ancient medicine is that it's based on language and metaphor about nature. All right, friends, here we are on the barefoot adventure, talking about the medical system that I had a chance to study here in forests of Central America. The really ridiculous educational experience that I had, and specifically the integration of ancient medical systems with modern medicine. I mean, this was my obsession. Like, how do they fit together? How could they fit together? What did I see? A good part of my journey was just figuring out, like, what did I see that nobody else saw? Like, really trying to define it. Because my studies with Jaime here at the lake in Central America were so profound. I mean, it was such an awesome thing I was learning. I mean, I was so excited about it. It was something that was so new and profound and just unbelievably fascinating. I was obsessed with my discoveries in ancient medicine, and specifically, how this could really help people cure chronic conditions. I mean, it was obvious to me from the beginning that this was a medical system designed really from the ground up to teach you how to cure your own chronic condition. And so you can imagine, and so not only am I living in the forest in Central America where I am right now, wandering around the mountain at night on a full moon, living in the trees, my tree house, animals running around in the trees at night, and not only was I living here so deep in nature, but also, I was sick as a dog with a digestive condition, which meant that, I got to learn and apply everything that I was learning. I was also trying to figure out how to apply. Nice, huh? See that? And so, we're talking about medical systems. A lot has been made, and I'm not the first person to see this or say this or notice this or any such thing, but a lot has been made of modern medicine, and people say, oh, I prefer natural medicine. Modern medicine is not natural medicine. And I get it. I mean, technically, of course, anything created by human beings is still in nature, right? I mean, we are part of nature. But the reason that in the spirit of that comment, pharmaceuticals versus natural remedies, in the spirit of that argument, it's obvious why people think that the modern medical system in particular is not natural. It's outside of nature, right? Or it is unnatural, or it is less natural. Pharmaceuticals are still natural. I mean, it's in nature. These things are combined in a certain way or isolated, as the case may be. And so you don't find them like that in nature. And of course, in the case of pharmaceuticals, a given ingredient is isolated because you can patent it and, sell it and make billions, right? Which is a big problem when you isolate things like that. So in a sense, the complaint that it's not natural and that pharmaceuticals, come with a certain set of problems, it's important to know what those problems are. And that the medical system that I was learning had the advantage, and it's a specific advantage that has nothing to do with what you think. The advantage that you get studying ancient medicine is that it's based on language and metaphor about nature. So in other words, like, I don't know proteoglycans and type 2 collagen and how that contributes to, right, arthritic conditions. I don't know the answer to that. I'm not an MD. I didn't study medicine in that way. So I don't know what that means. I actually don't know what it means. And what it has to do with arthritis, and sort of like that, and $5 gets you a cup of coffee, right? But the idea of understanding medical conditions according to the language and images in nature. So here I'm talking about, you have rheumatoid arthritis. Well, you have a damp, hot condition. And dampness gets into the body like this, and this is what that means. And here's how you understand dampness, and damn it, when you eat a big cheese pizza and, wash it down with a Coke and you get a bunch of symptoms of mucus and dampness, lo and behold, right? Your arthritis flares up, and that makes total sense. The body is kind of like nature. If you put all this moisture in one place and it can't handle it, you get symptoms of dampness, and so I'm learning this medical system, but I'm also living so deep in nature, and most of the time quite frankly, I was alone a lot of the time. I mean, it wasn't that I had no companionship, but I spent months and months in the forest by myself, or with very few people around. And it was spooky. It was a really spooky experience in the last analysis. I had all kinds of wild things happen to me in the forest. And anybody who, if you study this topic, the topic of, it's a mythological thing. The isolation of the individual in nature will make you crazy. I mean, according to societal kind of thinking, I'm sure I spent several months up here actually being clinically insane. And, but it was a great insanity. It was a fantastic mental illness to have, because it was so fascinating what was happening to me. And I clearly preferred, my own insanity to other people's version of normalcy, because I was just having the most outrageous experience. And so I would stay up here. Weird things happen to you in the forest at night or on the ocean. And that certainly happened to me over and over again. And I'm going to talk about this in terms of synchronicity and sort of what that has to do with my medical studies when we get to that unit. But the medical system I was learning was based on a vision of the body as a microcosm of nature. Now, this by itself is not new. Sort of as above, so below, right? The principle that the body is a microcosm of, right, sort of heaven, earth, and humanity is here in the middle. And this is a very, very old theme. I mean, the idea that humanity has distanced itself from nature and is cut off from nature, I mean, that's the biblical theme, right? That's the expulsion from the garden. That's the Aristotle had thoughts and comments about that. It's not a new idea. But how the various cultures, East and West in particular, because the Eastern medical system is the oldest literate medical system that we have. It's not just old, it's actually written down. And so I wanted to know the argument by a medical system that had survived that long, which is why I sort of went in that direction and made it my goal to really master the ideas and the principles behind the Eastern medical approach, because I knew that would give me access to literature, to logic, to the kind of discussion that could be had by people who were serious enough to have written it down. And they were, in other words, I wasn't interested in the guru thing. I wasn't interested in this guy made this up last month and now he's trying to market it to people because he's the brilliant guy who knows how to heal everybody. I wasn't interested in that. I wanted to be actually a teacher where a logical tradition, a rational tradition could be sort of implemented, but also debated and argued about, and where there was, it was more than just my opinion about how or whether or not, a certain approach was helping. But it wasn't all positive thinking. It was no, this is clinical medicine. We're going to apply solutions based on logical criteria. So, deep in the forest, learning about ancient natural healing, not just the remedies, not just the solutions, but the actual logic, the thinking about how the body is various functions in nature. And the obvious ones, the blood is like a river. If you get disease of mucus, that's having too much humidity in the environment. What happens when you see humidity in the tropics? A lot of fungus grows. That's one of the things, right? That's what I discovered, and it kicked my ass so hard. And not just me, a lot of people. Okay? But, this kind of thing. and trying to really, and sort of letting myself be influenced by what I was learning and by the really astounding things that happen to you in nature when you're by yourself, say at the top of a mountain, by a lake, surrounded by indigenous people who think totally different than you. It was an outrageous learning experience. And so I'll delve into this more, and the learning and the logic of the system. It's all put together for anybody who wants to learn it in the Barefoot Medicine training that I'm releasing to the general public for the first time ever, that we're gonna actually allow people to learn a little bit of ancient medicine. And once you know the logic, once you kind of get how you can also then understand the mechanisms, the logical explanation of why the mechanisms in your body are breaking down, causing your chronic disease, that taking the steps to implement solutions is actually the easy part. It's the thinking that goes into understanding the condition. The solutions are easy, but you'll never match the right solution to the right problem until you learn to think this way. And so it's almost like the only obstacle you have to maximizing your body's ability to heal. There's nothing magic about healing. Your body is designed to do it. It knows what to do. If you can create the conditions where your body can heal, really miraculous recoveries can occur because your body knows how to do it. And so instead of taking pills, instead of further separating your body from nature, what if you understood what your condition meant, what your symptoms indicated? You had a map of how the organs work, how they break down, and you could fix your body from the inside, and then your body would heal your condition. That's what you're learning in the Barefoot Medicine training. That's what we got going on. And so I'm going to offer a 12-week program. If you're one of the few students who comes with me on this journey, then you'll have all kinds of skills for beating your own condition. Don Lucas, ¿qué tal? ¿Todo bien? Sí, por abajo. Sí. Pasa arriba vos. Casi son las 4, creo. Sí, ya. Vienen para las 4. Está bueno, Lucas. Adiós, pues. That's what you're learning. You get to process information in a way that makes your chronic condition make sense, and the applying of solutions to rebalance your organs so that your body can fix itself and your symptoms, your chronic problems go away little by little and stay away is obviously a very worthwhile thing to learn. I don't know any other way to get rid of chronic disease. Obviously modern medicine is not helpful in this regard. And so if you've been stuck with a chronic condition, you're really struggling, I know what that feels like. If you've been sort of at your wit's end for a long time, I get it, right? I went through that too. But the Barefoot Medicine training, which is really all put together based on my experience of learning, healing my own condition, living and running around the forest for good 2 decades now, right? But for 5 years, like hardcore, when I was learning and creating this material, that anybody can learn, that anybody can apply. Click below. You can get added to the interest list. You'll be the first people to find out about it. Hola, amigo. And buenas. And if you want my help healing a chronic condition, you're going to help me create the last part of the curriculum where we actually put this together for individuals. For individuals who want to learn to become the ultimate healer. And so keep an eye out for it. Click below, put your email address in, and you can tell me, you'll go to a form and you can tell me about your condition, what you're up against, right? Give me some details. We'll see if we're a good match. And if you're a good match for being a student of Barefoot Medicine training, we'll get you in the next cohort if possible, okay? But don't wait. There's very limited spaces. Obviously, I cannot mentor more than a few people at a time. So this is a very exclusive program, all right? No jokers. This is not for time wasters. Like, you do actually have things to learn, and it really helps if you're sick. I mean, if you're really sick and you need help, like, you'll take this seriously. If you won't, then you'll be wasting your time and mine, okay? We for sure nobody wants that, okay? Enter your email below and fill it out, and I'll get back to you. Thanks so much.